Welcome to this lesson, moving from theory to practice. In this lesson, we'll focus on how to bring modern teaching approaches into your classroom. Whether it's project-based learning, blended learning, or any other method we've explored, this lesson will guide you through the process of planning, delivering, and evaluating lessons using these strategies. Understanding modern teaching approaches is one thing, but successfully implementing them is another. In vocational education, the ultimate goal is not just to teach students concepts, but to ensure they can apply those concepts in real-world situations. This requires careful planning, creative delivery, and a commitment to engaging every student. In this lesson, we'll break down how to 1. Plan lessons using modern teaching approaches. 2. Deliver those lessons in ways that actively involve your students. 3. Evaluate learning outcomes to ensure your students are mastering the skills they need. Good teaching starts with a solid plan. When using modern teaching approaches, lesson planning involves 3 key steps. 1. Identify the competency or skill you want students to master. 2. Choose a teaching method that aligns with that competency. 3. Plan activities that actively engage students in learning and practicing the skill. Let's take an example. Suppose you're teaching a welding class, and the goal is for students to master welding a T-joint with proper alignment. Here's how you might plan the lesson. Start with a brief introduction to the theory behind T-joint welding. Use a video or live demonstration to show the correct technique. Divide students into small groups where they can practice the skill under your supervision. Conclude with an assessment where each student welds a T-joint that meets specific criteria for alignment and finish. This approach integrates theory, demonstration, and hands-on practice, ensuring students gain both knowledge and practical experience. Delivering engaging lessons. Once your lesson is planned, the next step is delivering it in a way that keeps students engaged and motivated. Here are some tips for effective lesson delivery. 1. Start with a hook. Capture your students' attention with a question, problem, or story related to the topic. For example, what's the most common mistake welders make with T-joints, and how can it be avoided? 2. Use visuals and demonstrations. Whenever possible, show rather than tell. This is especially important in TVET, where students learn by seeing and doing. 3. Encourage participation. Involve your students by asking questions, encouraging discussions, or assigning collaborative tasks. Participation keeps them engaged and helps them take ownership of their learning. Remember, your enthusiasm sets the tone. If you're excited about the material, your students will be too. Evaluating learning outcomes. Evaluation is an essential part of any lesson. It helps you measure whether your students have mastered the skill and identify areas where they might need more support. In modern teaching approaches, evaluation goes beyond traditional tests. Instead, focus on assessments that reflect real-world tasks. For example, in a carpentry course, students might be assessed on their ability to construct a small structure that meets specific dimensions and quality standards. In an electrical course, students might be asked to design and wire a basic circuit. To make evaluations effective, be clear about what you're assessing. Share the criteria with your students up front. Provide constructive feedback. Highlight what they've done well and give specific advice on how to improve. Allow for revision. If a student doesn't master the skill on the first try, give them the opportunity to practice and try again. Implementing modern teaching approaches isn't always easy, especially in resource-limited settings. You might face challenges like limited materials, diverse student skill levels, or resistance to new methods. Here are some strategies to overcome these challenges. Be resourceful. Use what's available to you. For example, if you don't have access to specialized tools, create simulations or models that achieve the same learning goals. Differentiate instruction. Adapt your teaching to meet the needs of students at different skill levels. Pair advanced students with beginners for peer learning. Communicate the benefits. Help students understand why these approaches are valuable. Show them how the skills they're learning connect directly to their career goals. Remember, small changes can have a big impact. Start by incorporating 1 or 2 new approaches into your lessons and build from there as you gain confidence and see the results. Let's take a moment to reflect on how you might implement modern teaching approaches in your classroom. Consider these questions. What is one competency you're currently teaching that could benefit from a more hands-on approach? Which modern teaching strategy, like project-based learning or the flipped classroom, might work best for your students? What resources or support would you need to implement these changes effectively? Thank you for completing this lesson. Implementing modern teaching approaches is a powerful way to transform your classroom and empower your students to succeed.